Well, good morning. We're out here in the garden this morning and I had to show you some of the changes. As you know, this is the front garden. If you've been around for a while, you'll recognize the front garden, and there are changes in it every day. There are things that have bloomed and quit blooming, like the jasmine and the roses. The roses are at the end of their blooming season. The climbers that are right here beside of the house, and other things going on out here in this garden. So I wanted to just bring you out and just let you see the hanging baskets that we've planted and let you see how they're doing. It's a little cool this morning. I've been out here watering and just checking on things like I always do. And I wanted to show y'all some of the beautiful things that are growing that maybe you didn't see. Right here's that beautiful rose. I think that's such a pretty color, that tangerine color. Now the climbing roses are at the end of their period of blooming for this season. They're at the end of their blooming season, so me and Donald will be cleaning this up, and of course we're still fighting the black spot. We didn't see near as much of it this year as we did last year, so we'll have to clean all of these leaves out of the flower bed and cut out all of the dead and bag that up and get it out of here, throw it away, get it out of here so that we can get rid of this black spot on these roses. Now there's echinacea blooming. That's a welcome herb in my garden. I think it's so beautiful, not only beautiful, but very useful. So I'm excited to have that blooming in the garden today, and lots of blooms to come. Lots of echinacea in this flower bed. It gets a lot of sun here, and I like to put it out here in the middle where it can get sun. I'll have to water this little hanging basket yet again. But the hanging baskets so far are hanging in. But it hasn't got those real hot days. Now I'm hoping that these hanging baskets will hang in here when the 100-degree weather hits later in the summer. I've got the garden hose pulled out because I've been working out here. Here's some of the containers that we planted. The blooms are looking good in there. The clematis is pretty much over with right here. The one beside the driveway, it's still going strong. Still got some daisies. And here's two more of the containers that we planted. Now over here in the middle garden, the passion flowers growing up the fence. The lamb's ear that Donald planted's taking hold. That's going to be pretty there. And look at the Queen Anne's lace. That more of it has popped open and bloomed. I am going to press some of these this year. I'm going to clip them off before they dry up, these blooms, these big beautiful blooms, and I'm going to press them so that I can make some framed artwork with them. They're looking good, very, very pretty. The hanging basket's doing well. Over here is more echinacea. Of course, this echinacea out here are different colors. The daylilies are still blooming. Of course, these blooms, they just last one day. There's a lot of them, quite a few blooms on this plant. And that makes it seem like it blooms longer, but this is just a short period of time that we get to capture these daylilies. And I love their color, they're so pretty. And their greenery's not bad. You can cut the greenery back some. But these will just bloom for one day and then they'll dry up, and we'll have to enjoy them for the day. And then what we call the pleurisy root right here. It'll be blooming orange before you know it. It's got a lot of blooms on it, and that's beautiful. That's Donald's, one of his favorites. He dug it up and put it here in the garden. Really pretty. Just enjoying this morning bed this morning and all the pretty blooms that I've waited all year to see. It just looks beautiful. Now this sage is coming to an end and it's blooming, and that's okay. It was so beautiful that it was worth the burst of beauty that it had. Enjoyed that thoroughly. I will probably save some seeds from these blooms here. And over here is some more echinacea. See those blooming? And this clematis bloomed later, so it still has some of its beautiful blooms going. Still enjoying that beautiful clematis. And over here at the perennial herb garden, we added the peppers. We added a row of peppers here because they get such good sun in the morning on this side of the house, and we thought that they would get more sun here than they would in the vegetable garden. So that's why we have peppers that are out here. These perennial herbs that come back every year are looking great. Here's the comfrey. This is the king of my perennial herb bed here. I love this comfrey. Look at that beautiful clematis there. We've got the rosemary. The lavender's looking a little sad in here, but it should jump back. It wants more space, I think. Of course, there's plenty of weeds in here that need to be pulled out. But the thyme is blooming. It's beautiful. Here's the catnip. I can actually take a few pieces of this in and see if the cats want to smell it. And here's the oregano. It's a big old ball of oregano. Here I added some variegated thyme. It's not grown up very much. That pineapple sage is beautiful. That's a beautiful plant as well as useful. And then we just have some regular sage. There's another little rosemary. Now the tree that Donald got from his mom, the bush, the cutting he dug up around his mom's camellia bush, is looking pretty sad. It did not have enough roots in that system when we put it down in the ground, I guess, to maintain itself. So I'm going to cut that back, but I'm still going to leave that in the ground because there's roots on that root ball, and I think this thing will come back. So I'm just going to cut it back small, cut all this dried off so it won't have to work so hard to provide nutrients for this big stem. And I've not gave up on this. This is looking sad, but I'm still going to do what I can to save it because he loved that red and white camellia that's down at his mom's house. He really got way too big of a cutting. He got way too big of a piece to try to start at this time of the year. But hey, we're going to do what we can with it and get it to live if we can. Well, I think that's all that I have that's new that's growing in the garden this morning. Of course, the knockout rose is still looking good. It looks really good. And this will look good until frost. This knockout rose. If you're looking for a good bush type rose to go in your landscape, you can't beat a knockout rose. They're just so much bang for the buck. They really are. They're beautiful, and they stay beautiful most all summer long. And here is the salvia that I planted last year that me and Donald got from the fruit stand. This is a blue salvia right here. Actually, it's not a salvia. It's something else. But it slipped my mind this morning what this is. But we got a red one. We got a red one at the farmer's market last year to go in beside of this blue one. Of course, this blue one's been here for a long time, so it's huge. It blooms blue. That's why I'm calling it the blue one. When this thing blooms, you'll be able to see the beautiful blue blooms that's on it. And we got a red one here. And of course, it's going to take a while for it to get as big as the blue one. But it's just going to be pretty right there in beside of it. Well, I was right. It is a salvia. It's a salvia patens. It's a blue salvia. So that's what this is. I know. I thought that's what it was, but sometimes when you get out here in the garden trying to remember everything you have, unless you've had it for a long time and know it by heart, it's just hard to remember all the names to it. But this is also a salvia, but it's not blue. It's a red one. And of course, we like the red, white, and blue theme out in the garden just because it's beautiful. But we do branch out. Here's some more orange. Of course, it's hard for me to stay within a certain color of a color palette because I want to branch out so much, and I usually do branch out. I've had redbirds out here in this garden on these plant hangers trying to get to the water over there. But this is how it's all going. I try to show you the changes and what's new and what's blooming in the garden. And I wanted to bring you out here and just show you the beautiful daylilies and the Queen Anne's lace, because the Queen Anne's lace will be busting out in all of its glory. And then when it's gone, it's gone. So I have to share it with you while it's beautiful. Here it is starting to bust out. That's going to be an awesome beauty display of Queen Anne's lace. And of course the daylilies, they just last one day. So if I want to share those with you, I've got to get with it and show you while they're blooming. In the cottage garden, of course, this cottage garden has a wild side. There's a lot of wild things in this cottage garden, but I like to show you what's changing, what's blooming, and what's going on out here. And when we get some of the work done, I'll be able to share with you the differences and what it looked like before and what it looks like now. This is the other hanging basket that we've planted here. And the wild roses are over here. In this bed, the little wild roses me and Donald dug up years ago from a friend's front yard. They're miniature, they're tiny little roses, and they have a beauty of their own. They have a little bit of powdery mildew, which I will spray that with a few tablespoons of milk and water to get rid of that. And we have a lot of that stuff that just comes from hot conditions. It's just so, all the rain comes at once and then it gets real hot, and then we have a lot of conditions that follow that type of weather. I just think those little roses are so pretty. What a little delight in this garden over here. And then we have Virginia creeper going up the fence post beside this crepe myrtle. Very beautiful. I'm going to go check my angel begonias that I put over here in this little greenhouse. Make sure to keep these good and damp. So that they'll root and I'll have more of these beautiful begonias to spread out into the yard. Alrighty, I've changed from the front yard to the backyard now. We're going to go back here and just see what needs to be watered. I hear some hens laying eggs. Good morning, Ollie. I didn't collect the eggs yesterday, so I'm going to go ahead and get those today. My little grandson, well, my oldest grandson, he likes to go ahead and collect these eggs for me. But I'm going to have to go ahead and collect them this morning. And they will probably lay more eggs. And he'll be able to collect a few this evening. I have to feed these chickens before I collect the eggs. If I don't, they'll be all up here in the nesting box or in the where they lay their eggs. If I don't go ahead and feed them, they'll be here all in a way thinking that they're going to get something to eat. So I have to go ahead and feed them before I collect the eggs. And I have to be careful right here because they could actually jump out through this nesting box if I'm not careful. I got one right here. So here's our eggs for today. It's a lot of good eggs. That's a quiche, an omelet, carbonara, scrambled eggs, fried eggs. A lot of different ways to make these delicious eggs. So this will probably be my lunch today. I'll be making an egg dish. Now I'm in the little vegetable garden and I am going to go ahead and water the veggies out here before the hot day starts up. Let me get this hose on shower. And I'm just going to go ahead and spray a little water on these. Things are looking dry. They're new plants down in the ground, so they're going to need some water. This is very expensive water. This is city water, laden with chemicals. But I'm in the city and I'm on city water, so this is what I have to use. This is what is available to me. I could catch rainwater, and we do catch some rainwater, but it would be nowhere near enough to water all of these plants. So I'm doing the best I can do with what I have this morning. And here's the little bantams. They're in there this morning. And while I've got the hose out and I'm out here, I'm just going to go ahead and fill up their water. Usually the kids do all the care for these little chicks because, sorry about that, because these are their chicks. But if I'm out here and I see that they need something, I just go ahead and give it to them, and then let the little kids go ahead and help me with that later. Just rinse out this jar a little bit. Keep it getting clean for these little chicks. The little okra right here. We got a little row of okra. I'm going to go ahead and get this garden watered before the hot sun gets on it. Now, David and I, the last time we watered and fed these chicks, one of them got out. It hopped across the fence into the neighbor's yard, and it took a little while for me to chase the thing down. So I'm going to be careful to not let that happen today. Those little bantams are getting cute. They've got little feathers on their feet. They're just a delight to look at. Well, I'll get back to watering this garden. It'll all have to be watered back here. It's all looking really good. I've been on the lookout for cutworms. We sometimes have cutworms, and those are worms that will just cut your plants off, especially tomato plants, and they'll just cut them off right at the soil, and then you'll come out here and your plant will just be laying over to the side. But I hadn't saw any evidence of cutworms, and that's a good thing. I don't want to see any of those. Now, the solution that we use for cutworms is we just take little strips of newspaper and wrap it around the stem just a little bit under the soil. We clear back and go about 1 inch under the soil and wrap that stem with a piece of newspaper or comparable paper like that, and it will prevent the cutworm from cutting your plants off down at the stem. But if you ever come in your garden and just see your plant laying over and it's been cut off down at the bottom, that's what it is. It's a cutworm. But it's a simple fix. I've been looking for that. We have had some cutworms in the past, but I don't see any any damage from a cutworm, and that's a good thing. Now you know it takes a little while to water. So this is how I'm going to leave you today. I'm going to go ahead and go. I'm going to go ahead and end this video, and I'm going to get out here and water these plants. And I'll be including a little video of the cats. I didn't get to share the cats with you because I couldn't find them the last time. But this time I'll be able to share a little clip with you of the cats. They're so sweet. We've really been enjoying them. The kids love them. And they fit right in. They're calm, they're not wild, and they're just a joy to have. But I'll include a little clip at the end of this video of the kittens and the kitten and the mama cat. Thank you for joining me out in the garden today, and let me show you what's changed out in the front garden. Let me show you what's blooming out there. Thank you for joining me back here as I gather the eggs and watering this back little vegetable garden today. I hope you have a wonderful day and enjoy where you're at and use what you have. Thank you, and like always, until next time. Well, here are our new kitties. This is the mama kitty, and we've named her Angelina. And this is the baby kitty, and David named her Cookie. So we've got Cookie and Angelina, and they are very laid back kitties. As you can see, they get a little playful, but they're not wild at all. And we have really enjoyed them. And this is just as sweet a little kitty as you can get right here. Angelina, the mama kitty. She is a sweet little kitty. Of course, we are going to have her fixed. And we are not going to let her outside, so she'll be a house cat. And she is a sweet girl. We feel that she's a gift, and I think we're going to be able to keep them until forever, as long as we possibly can until they pass away. We're planning to keep these pets forever. Of course, we plan to keep every pet that we get forever. But sometimes things don't work out, and real life happens. You have to make adjustments. But yeah, we adopted these with full plans to always keep them for the length of their life. She's rubbing against the oh, so sweet. But we're really happy to have our two kitties. I wanted to introduce them to you. Wanted you to see them. Hopefully you'll be seeing them in the videos.